Alright guys, so the update details are here for the July update. We're getting a tier 4 for Odin, tier 3 for Enchantress, a new uniform for Malekith, along with some changes for timeline survival and story mode. So let's dive right into it. I don't know if everyone is going to jump the gun and tier 4 Odin right away because he's basically glorified Thor with no PvP value. He is the only tier 2 native tier 4 that has no PvP value at the moment. Granted, Wolverine doesn't have much in the way of PvE value. The others like Jean Grey, Thanos, and Adam Warlock are very powerful PvP and PvE. So I don't know, 1500 crystals for Odin's uniform when he's basically just Thor may piss off a lot of people, but we'll see if people actually get behind it. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So for Odin's uniform bonus, he already had 20% chain hit damage. They're giving him an increase of 50% all defense and super armor. As for his tier 3 skill, they're changing around some of the buffs. Previously he had a 40% attack buff for one attack. They're changing that for a 50% all attack buff for 12 seconds, so that's actually pretty good. Moving on, we have increased the lightning damage as a part of his leadership now, and this applies to all allies. However, in return, he's losing the 30% resistance that he gained from his previous leadership. That kind of sucks, to be honest with you guys. First skill is useless just because of the fact that Odin has no PvP value in this new uniform. No iframe ignore, no counter attack, none of that stuff. He's just a PvE character with a PvP leadership. Sadly, I was hoping that he would get iframe ignore at the very least for Alliance Conquest, but nope. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is how they're doing things. A tier 2 native tier 4 without iframe ignore is yikes. Literally the only one that doesn't have it right now. Shock, paralysis, barrier. He just has to hit really hard for ABX. Like if he's not capping, it's a easy skip for me personally. Actually, even if he is capping, I think I might skip over him, truthfully speaking, just because the rewards for ABX, whether you cap or not, are the same. It's just the ego boost. So we have shock, paralysis, barrier, silence, fracture, invincibility, accumulation. Got shock, stun, paralysis here, ignore, dodge, immunity, a 35% attack proc on the forward skill. Then we got shock, stun, incapacitation, defense down, 25% HP recovery for 1 second here, invincibility, and then we have a 45% attack but defense buff with 30% critical rate. It looks decent on paper, but truthfully speaking, I think Odin is gonna be a level 80 for me only. I might actually skip over Odin. Actually, not might. Looking at this, I am skipping over Odin on my free-to-play account. Not even gonna buy him. I'm just gonna leave him as is. Moving on, unless there's something in the game that specifically gives you insane rewards for Odin specifically and nobody else can do it, then yeah, it's just an easy skip for me. Moving on to Enchantress, this uniform turns her into a super villain support character. 20% attack buff with 40% extra damage to boss types. That's actually really good. I definitely can see myself picking up this uniform on the free-to-play account, but this uniform I think is primarily for ABX players because Enchantress herself, I doubt she's going to be doing that much damage. Moving on to her leadership, it's increasing all of your debuff effects by 40%, increases mind resistance and mind damage. So if you have a super villain that does mind damage, they're going to gain a lot from Enchantress. 20% attack, 30% mind damage, and then 40% extra damage to boss types. That's actually really good. Definitely future proofs this uniform for the long term. Tier 2 passive giving you 25% guaranteed dodge, increased skill damage and bonus damage. We got snare and mind damage on the first skill. We got charm and recovery. Basically, it's a damage over time recovery rate buff that can heal you up to 20% of your max HP. She has invincibility and she ignores targeting when she's using the 2. That's actually pretty good. She doesn't have iframe ignore, like she doesn't ignore other people's iframe, but she herself can go into an iframe and become intargetable unless the enemy has ignore iframe. It's a shame that she doesn't get iframe ignore. It means she doesn't have that much value for Alliance Conquest, but why do I keep mentioning Alliance Conquest when the devs don't really care about that game mode I honestly don't know, man. It is what it is. Moving on, we have accumulation on the third, mind control, paralysis. We got attack buff with defense and no critical rate, unfortunately. Usually these frenzy buffs offer a little bit of critical rate, none for her, unfortunately. A 20% recovery rate here, so that's actually pretty good because the charm doesn't apply in World Boss Legend, and if the enemy has debuff removal, the charm won't apply, so you won't be able to heal. So it's nice that she has a secondary way to heal herself. Moving on, we have Malekith. So his uniform bonus is staying the same pretty much. It's a little bit better than what it was last time, but this is kind of yikes. Truthfully speaking, this is a lackluster uniform bonus. It changes a couple other skills in his kit, but they should have given him a better uniform bonus. It's literally only 5% more for the recovery rate. His leadership applies to all allies. So when they're debuff, it removes all debuffs for 20 seconds every 35 seconds. This is a long cooldown, but you gain 30% energy defense. Applies to self, increases HP by 20%, chain hit damage by 10%, and then when his HP is below 30%, he recovers 60% of his HP, increases damage to superhero faction by 120%. This is always there. He gains 20% damage reduction. He did not have that previously. That's actually pretty good. First skill is whatever, second skill whatever, truthfully. Third skill, I was gonna say he doesn't have damage accumulation in his kit, but he does, and he has a secondary way to heal himself outside of his uniform bonus. We have 6 seconds of invincibility, we have damage immunity, damage accumulation, fear, paralysis. I was gonna say, like, for the first time in a long time, I was just gonna completely skip over a uniform, but I still won. I don't see this one being meta. I think most people can easily skip over this one. If there was one uniform you were gonna buy in this update, it definitely should be Enchantress. Odin you can probably live without, and then same goes for Malekith. Big win here so far for Enchantress fans. Let's see if my girl Angela can turn things around. Okay, hold on. They didn't mention this in the live stream. When I was saying it in the live stream, I was hoping that she was going to be a support character as well, because on the Universal Female Superhero Day, the only support character we've had for years is Phyla-Vell. So now, even if Angela isn't enough, like strong enough to replace Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch will now have double support on both Universal Superhero Day and Universal Female Superhero Day, because you'll be able to use Angela, Phyla-Vell, and Scarlet Witch together, and maybe try to hit the cap by swapping between Angela and Scarlet Witch every time her awakened skill is up off cooldown. But this is really good. So the females are getting a lot of value in this update, both Angela and Enchantress. 40% extra damage to just super villains, but it's fine. And then their tier 2 passive is staying pretty much the same as it was before. It's 5% more skill damage and 5% more bonus damage. It's fine as long as these things are staying the same, especially the guaranteed critical rate. It's gonna make her really good with a CDP of Rage. And from what I saw from the animation in the preview live stream, she looks really good. Just hopefully she has a lot of damage in the kit. So stun on the first skill, bleed, paralysis, bleed, recovery rate decrease, which I don't really understand because this is not a PvP character, so I don't know why all these characters have recovery rate decrease. We got sneer, paralysis, invincibility, all attack, defense, critical rate, and all speed. 1% all speed is just so trash. I don't know why they keep doing that. Then we have damage accumulation, we have silence, and we have a 30% recovery rate here, so that's really good. Definitely looking forward to playing with both Angela and Enchantress. Odin and Malekith, it's up in the air right now. Let me see Odin's tier 4. Okay, so immunity to all debuffs for 4 seconds, increases all attack by 100% for 10 seconds, recovers 10% of max HP for 10 seconds, and then it does damage as well. This reminds me of Moon Knight's tier 4 skill, as you can see right here. However, in the case of Moon Knight, he recovers 30% of his max HP, and even though it says 1 second here, it's actually more like 10 seconds. The same goes for his all speed, and it's a 120% attack buff for 10 seconds. It's just constantly refreshing for the duration of this skill. However, this is an AoE effect that you have to stay inside of. Maybe for Odin it will apply to himself. The only downside for Moon Knight is if the boss does a cutscene, it cleanses the map and his tier 4 effect goes away, so you have to time it very carefully. So maybe Odin's will be better in the sense that it applies to himself and not the area around the map. But either way, it looks like Moon Knight gets a better, well, Moon Knight doesn't do damage. So, and the immunity to the debuff doesn't really do much for Odin, since Odin's leadership already removes debuff, and Odin isn't a PvP character anymore, or well, he never really was. It was just like he had a PvP leadership. So I don't know, this one's kind of iffy. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section. So Enchantress, this right here is her tier 3 skill. We got Sneer, Mind Control, Penetration, we got Invincibility. It's okay. Moving on to Malekith and Ulik. Hopefully Ulik or Ulik, whatever you guys want to call him, gets a uniform soon. Odin gets Scarlet Witch / Gore's artifact. Nothing new, but very, very powerful. We get Mind Damage, 30% of mind resistance with ignore dodge. I think this is the same as Professor X. Moving on, we have Malekith, increases damage to enemies with 50% HP or below by 20%. It's okay. And then Ulik, if I remember correctly, this looks very, very similar to Beast and Gilgamesh. So recovers HP by 80% and increases max HP by 75%. So nothing new, just basically copy paste of what we've seen before. Then we got some special icons coming in. I'm not gonna lie, Angela's kind of look like hot girls. If you're a DC fan, you already know. These look really, really cool. Doctor Strange icon though, is there something coming for Doctor Strange in the future? Who knows? Anyways, other improvements and changes. So there's a filter setting for World Boss, Shadowland, and Giant Boss Raid. They showed it in the live stream. This guy said it was content. So yeah, there's new content. Crazy. We have a new agent support thing for 2 weeks. Basically, you'll be able to unequip items from your characters for free, and then you will also have a discount on bosses when you're resetting them and whatnot. It's really annoying seeing them do stuff like this for only new players and not everyone, because the people who support your game the most are the people who are playing every day and spending money on your game. But instead, you're gonna say, hey, if you're new to the game, here are these bonuses just for you, and nothing for the people who are playing your game every single day. I don't need this shit because I already have pretty much everything in the game and I can buy anything I want. So I'm not really speaking for myself, but I know there's free-to-play players that could benefit from stuff like this, like being able to remove your comic cards for free and whatnot. This is really, really annoying to see, and it really goes to show you that these people don't really care about the people who support their game the most. They really care about the new money. There's changes for timeline survival. Unless they add tier 4 materials to this game mode, it's still just gonna be a snooze fest in my opinion. Anyways guys, with that being said, I'm gonna just wrap it up right here. I look forward to seeing how good Odin actually becomes. If he's not good enough to cap in AVX and challenge Star-Lord in ABL considering his cost, then I think I'll just effectively leave this guy as a level 80 and he'll be the first tier 2 native tier 4 that I skip over, but that's going to be one of many in the future.